We're now going to look at modelling the rear suspension. It consists of the wheel rim, the tyre, the suspension arm, and the shock absorber suspension. Starting with the swing arm, it's going to start with an extrusion. And if we look at the browser, we'll see that the extrusion was actually created by projecting geometry. That's why we see that reference there. So how did I do that? Well, I started by creating a new part inside the assembly. The reason why I did that is I wanted to project that circle from the body of the car part and tie those two together. The swing arm itself consists of a number of features, and most of those features are just to make it look good. So in this example, I would say that is form over function. So the key dimensions are the two center-to-center distance that I just showed, the small circle and the large circle. The rear rim is a supplied part. For a challenge, you may want to create your own. The rear tyre is built off of the rim and is a revolved feature, and the sketch is based on the rim. So a review of the assembly shows that we have the swing arm and the wheel and tyre in place. Let's look at that shock absorber suspension with the spring. There are a number of components to it, and we can see that it's attached to the body at the top. So if I just change that and show you some hidden edges, you can see the way we're attaching that to the body of the car, and similarly to the swing arm. Going back to the shaded view, that looks like it's some of the parts. To attach to the body and to the swing arm, we have modelled a suspension part. Those parts then slide into two tubes, one slightly larger than the other. So we have an upper and a lower suspension part. To control the travel of the suspension, we have a spring which is created using the coil command. So the coil command requires a profile, which in this case is a circle, and then an axis. And the axis is set so that it's the radius of the coil. The coil size in this one is set to revolution and height, and the coil ends are the standard or default natural. And there we see the coil or spring. We then bring all of those parts together in the rear suspension. When all the assembly constraints are applied to the parts, we should be able to drag on the wheel or any of the other parts and see the correct motion of the rear suspension. We can also apply what we call drive constraints to create this motion.